Welcome to Rollin with Mike, podcast on wheels. My name is Mike Wilson, aka Rollin Mike, your host. I am a writer, speaker, and disability coach, and author of a book titled Return from the Edge. 31 years ago, I was injured in a life-altering motor vehicle accident that left me as a quadriplegic. This is my story. First of all, I want to welcome you to the Rollin with Mike podcast on wheels show. I'm glad that you could be present with your son Maddox here. And actually, you're going to be my first individual that I've actually entertained and had on my show. So welcome to that first episode.
Well, Maddox and I are happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Today, I'm here today with Denny Locascio. Not only is he the owner of Impact Fitness in Lutz, Florida, he's also the head trainer. Someone who I've came to know over the last almost 4.5 years. Today, I just wanted to sit down with him, discuss a few things about the gym that he owns, that I attend, that I work out, that I've tried to be as faithful as I can. Within a few misses here and there, but overall, excited to have you here. I want to start from the beginning with you. When you were growing up, at what age did you decide your career path or what you may want to do with your life?
You know, growing up, Mike, I've always been around sports. My family, my uncles, my dad, my grandfather, everyone's always followed or at least played in sports. I've always been around it, and then not only being around it, but within high school, being around friends, being around everyone else always worked out. So I really didn't know how to combine the two, other than I love sports, I love working out. And that got me to USF for college, and I was playing rugby, and a friend of mine on the team, he's like, hey, if this is what you're interested in, he's like, you may want to start considering strength and conditioning. So he really introduced me to a career path. Like, hey, you might want to study this. You might want to start interviewing these people. Hey, you might want to check out this internship, which that kind of started that process of going at the exercise science program at USF, doing the strength and conditioning intern at USF, and getting down that career path of like, okay, here's how this should go. If this is the career you want to be, if you want to be around sports and athletes and working out, boom, this is what you need to start studying. So that just kind of put me down the rabbit hole, down that spiral of heading towards that career path.
After attending USF, where did you begin your employment?
Sure. So my last semester in the exercise science program, you have to do a full-time internship. That's 30 hours a week you're interning. And at that point, I'd already interned for 4 years at the USF Strength and Conditioning Department. So I was looking for something different to do. And there's a private facility in Wesley Chapel that they had an opening for an intern. I had a friend already there. He said, hey, you learn from two guys there that are just phenomenal guys, Ted and Scott. You learn some incredible things from these two guys. So I took an internship there at this private facility that had general population and some professional athletes. Once that internship got finished, they hired me on as a full-time trainer. I ended up working there for 4 years, taking on just starting as a trainer, kind of working my way up to eventually running the sports performance part of that facility. And as it came to the end, that facility wanted more focus on high-end individuals, private training. And at that time, myself and my original business partner, Biko, we really wanted to focus more on helping kids in the community, especially high school kids, on sports performance, speed agility, strength training. And that's when we started, 11 years ago, we started Impact, really to help young kids in the community, give them a place to train and increase their performance outside of the skill work.
When you were at Wesley Chapel at this place doing your initial internship, not only what did you learn from training there, but how did you apply that to your life moving forward?
One of the biggest things taken away from my time over there is working with one of the gentlemen. His name was Scott, And he was just this lifelong learner, lifelong reader. And that really kind of woke me back up. Because as a young kid, I loved to read, but I kind of got away from it once I got kind of got into high school, college. I'd read here and there, but not like diving into at least, one or two books a week, just boom,
Yeah.
pouring into the reading. And I got that back. And Scott really introduced me to that. I got that back going. And I mean, I couldn't set a book down for a couple of years. And I read hundreds of books. And that really got me back going onto that lifelong learning path.
Yeah.
And that was really influential. The other things too is just really getting back into community and building relationships, not only with local coaches, but some of the local players too. And having those relationships will introduce me to other kids, who's introduced me to other teams. And so those are some of the big key takeaways and some of the stuff that really helped get going in the very early stage, like the Coach Grady's and some of these other people, having the relationship with them who can introduce me to other kids or bring other kids in the door. That was like the grassroots of it.
I like that because you have to. I know in life sometimes we may get a little bit complacent, but the networking part of it, of getting out into the areas that we live in, communities that we live in, and developing relationships, that's a vital part of any business, I believe. Moving forward from there, what hardships did you face, if any? I'm sure you did, as owning your own, having to go in and all this equipment, getting started with that. What hardships did you face? I know financially you had to have, it had to be a little bit tough, going out on a limb, and you probably had some days where you thought, oh man, you might have been a little cautious or nervous.
Sure, especially starting off as a business for us, we didn't have a large bank account to start off with that we could just every month be in the negative. We had to start making money early on because we were forced to. It's what we had to do, but it also taught us to be scrappy and to just really grind it out early on and use what we had, use the tools that we had, use whatever resources we had, and be very efficient at it, and find ways, just thinking outside the box, and to be creative. I think other things too early on is, you're learning how to balance between being a business owner, having a family, having kids, having a wife, doing those things too. I think those are early challenges especially being a business owner. And then coming from, a degree in exercise science, you're not in business school. You're not getting a degree in business or economics or finance. You're not doing that. You're there to learn about business or you're there to learn about exercise science. And so to be a business owner, I had to go on my own, or Biko and I had to go on our own to learn the business side of things. And eventually down the line, Corey came in as a business owner, which, his own expertise and his own knowledge. But we had to, on our own, learn those things. So I think that was a big obstacle too, is not only learning the exercise part of it, but learning the business side of it too, which it's not USF Exercise Science Program's fault. That's not their business. They're not in there to teach you business. Right. They're there to teach you the exercise and the science and the health and all those types of things.
It's a great answer, because I find that myself in my own business is what the challenges that I face, and the degree that I have with human services and rehabilitation studies and peer support specialist, also a peer recovery coach. I know that that's not the business side of it, trying to figure out what's the best path forward. That can be very challenging, and also very frustrating and very rewarding as well. What specific areas do you look for when you're hiring employees? Is there a spot or a specific guideline when you started hiring employees to help you?
For us, Mike, it's always been about the culture. And that's an easy answer. That's an easy word people throw around. But for us, it's about having these coaches that understand what we're trying to get out of the athlete or the community or the people that are in our gym, right? We're trying to not only just do fitness, but we're trying to have a healthy environment, positive environment, physically, mentally, emotionally, all those things. And kind of our formula has been a lot of our trainers start off as high school athletes. Some of them are even middle school. Start off as a young athlete, training with us. Usually, some of them have gone off to play their college sport and realized, man, I really like being around training. I really like fitness. I really like what I was doing at Impact Fitness. So they end up going and getting their degree in exercise science, and they've come back either as an intern or as a part-time trainer, kind of worked their way up to part-time, full-time trainer, and even one of the coaches being our head coach. So it's kind of been our formula has been starting off saying, hey, I like working out. I like getting better for my sport. Ooh, I would like to do this and offer it back to the next generation of kids. And now have created, a lifestyle around that.
I like that part of seeing these same people in there day in, day out, grinding it out and staying on days that I don't even feel like being there. We all have those days. What has been your, not in just building a family, but what strengths have you used? I'm kind of going there with maybe, some of the things you do in the community with the clients that you have in order to keep us like a close knit tight.